Night debate over the role of monetization in Ghana's politics and how it's increasingly becoming a threat to our democracy. Also this afternoon, meanwhile, some supporters of the NDC in 3 constituencies in the northern region are kicking against the majority caucus's call for the annulment of the Ayawaso East NDC primaries. Plus, minority caucus rejects what they claim is government recent decision to reduce Swami interchange project from the initial 4-tier capacity to 2-tier facility.
If government claims it lacks funds to complete the full design of the Swami interchange project, why is it financing 64 new road projects?
We have details of these and more in the next 30 minutes. Stay with us. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. From here, voter inducement and cost of elections in Ghana is a subject as old as the 4th Republican dispensation, and over the weekend it's re-emerged in quite some style. During the NDC's parliamentary primary, TV sets, motorbikes and cash were donated in the open glare of TV cameras with no remorse and justification from some of the leading candidates. The governing NDC has attempted a course of action to remedy what has become an embarrassing event to their research agenda, setting up a committee to investigate the happening. With the committee expected to begin its work today, conversations from civil society and watchers of the political space say the NDC and government must use this as a rallying point to deal a decisive blow to monetization in politics. According to data from the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, contesting for political office has become increasingly expensive. The latest research shows that winning a parliamentary seat alone now costs in the region of 10 million Ghana cedis, while presidential campaigns run into hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, my colleague Wisdom Safo is here with some data on all this, what that CDD has been saying. Wisdom, what do we know? What is CDD telling us?
Mentioned from the data you just mentioned, the cost of parliamentary seat. I mean, you know, before the parliamentary seat, there will be a primary. You have to do party mobilization. That's when you see them with the T-shirts, sharing T-shirts and all the banners. If you quantify all these together, you are looking at $650,000 US. At the time they did the research, if you do the cross exchange rate, you translate it to Ghana cedis, so around 10 million Ghana cedis. And the breakdown of the cost was the constituency nurturing, which is around 2 million Ghana cedis. As I said, the primaries and the party processes, the campaign logistics and mobilization, and the general election campaigning. So if you look at the presidency, that one, it skyrocketed to somewhere around 150 million US. So you look at the breakdown of the presidential election you realize that it is about mobilizing the base, the grassroots. I don't want to mention that you'll be sharing TV sets and all that, but it all boils down to if you don't take care, the political positions in the country will be auctioning to the highest bidder, of which is not good for our democracy.
So money will now be chosen over competence.
Yes. So they will look at the one who is giving us
out the
more,
best goodies.
Yes, and they'll vote for the person. And this is not democracy. So there's a need for something to be done about this. So this data was published by CDD in 2025.
Did CDD add any form of recommendations to what we should be doing going forward?
Yes, they mentioned that there should be a regulatory body to check the financial institutions, the financial processes of these political parties. Actually, we have an act that regulates political parties spending. So the Political Parties Act stipulates that the political parties should always present audited financial reports of the financiers, the cost of what's party campaigning and all that. But this regulation is not being adhered to. So they are asking for tightened regulation, tightened monitoring, tightened oversight by the Electoral Commission. Because look, it is quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know, if you don't take care, because these financiers have invested in your company and all that, when you come to power,
they'll
you
be
owe
looking
them.
forward to
Yes,
you giving them contracts
you
and kickbacks and all.
definitely have to pay it back to them in maybe contracts, in goodies, and that's where this conflict of interest comes in. So yes, Grace is very serious. It's something we have to tackle very.
Wisdom, thank you for bringing us those updates. Wisdom Safo, my colleague, updating us on that figures from CDD on how expensive elections are becoming in the country. Meanwhile, Election Watch Ghana has condemned what it describes as serious electoral malpractices during the NDC Ayawasi East parliamentary primaries, warning that Ghana's democracy is being undermined by a legal loophole that allows votes buying in internal party elections. In a statement, the group cited reports and a viral video allegedly showing a candidate, Baba Jamal, distributing television sets and food items to delegates. The candidate later admitted giving out the televisions, describing them as gifts. Election Watch Ghana argues that while Ghana's laws criminalize vote buying in national elections, they fail to explicitly cover party primaries, creating what it calls a dangerous vacuum that encourages cash and carry politics. The group has called on the Electoral Commission to investigate the allegations, urged the NDC to apply internal sanctions, and wants law enforcement agencies, including the CID and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, to probe and prosecute offenders. Let's stay on this and connect with my colleague Armstrong Alogbe. He is in the Ayawasi East constituency, bringing us the look and feel in the constituency over the weekend, and also after all the issues that are coming out from vote buying from the election. Armstrong, thank you for joining us. What can you report from the Ayawasi East constituency? How are constituents reacting to all the calls and all the arguments that have come up after the election over the weekend?
So, Grace, currently, as we speak to you now here in Ayawasi East, particularly around the Lima roundabout, we have a lot of campaign activities taking place here, and I can see many more supporters trooping to the streets, and I took interest to find out what exactly was happening. Apparently, it wasn't even an NDC that was campaigning, but it happens to be an independent candidate that has broken away from the NDC camp and it's contesting as independent candidate. So, with all that is happening, it appears he's taking advantage of the situation to canvass more votes for himself. But on the issue of the NDC, I'm not far from the campaign. That is the constituency office where they are currently in a meeting. And the students are going to hold a press conference to brief the media on all that is happening, whether or not there is support in the position of the national headquarters or not. So as it stands right now, we are still waiting patiently for this said meeting to come to an end and hear from the constituency executive on what they have to say to us.
Armstrong, what have they been telling you about the issues of vote buying that have come up over the weekend, especially the constituents? What do they say about it?
The constituents have said that it is on the first side such an incident is taking place, and that they recall during the just ended MPC the primaries, it happened. Nothing happened to those that were involved. And this has happened in almost all elections held in this country. So is it a case that Baba Jamal is not liked by the top hierarchy of the NDC, which is why they are trying to bring him down at all costs? The question that many ask is, what if it was a woman that won the equally shared item? Would they have recalled her from three positions as in the board girls boss belongs to? Why are they only moving Baba Jamal from the position as ambassador to Nigeria? These and many other things the constituents have been speaking to Grace.
Right, Armstrong, you tell us that there's going to be a press conference very soon. We'll definitely come back to you and then give us the updates of what the press conference is going to be about. My colleague Armstrong Alogbe bringing us updates from the Ayawasi East constituency, where all the attention is because of the issues of vote buying. Now, talking about vote buying, some supporters of the NDC drawn from the Sanarugu, Tamale South, Tamale North, and Tamale Central constituencies are this afternoon condemning the position of the Majority Caucus in Parliament following their call for the annulment of the Ayawaso East by-elections. According to them, the call is premature and has the tendency of tampering with investigative committee instituted by the party. They believe that the position of the MPs will also create disaffection for the party in the constituency, which can affect the fortunes of the party in subsequent elections. We are working the phone to speak to my colleague Christopher Makun, who is bringing us that report from the region. While at that, let's listen to some of the constituents. Why, Christopher, you have been engaging some of these constituents. Talk to us what they've been saying. Right. Before we speak to Christopher, let's listen to the constituents and then we'll work the phone and engage him on what's really.
They should try and stop that, because you cannot say none of them have ever given a gift to his constituents, people, to lure them to vote for them. We don't call this bribe. It's a gift. It has been happening for a while. So they should spare us.
I don't support it, what the leadership said. If you look at, even though as a party, we don't support bribery, these things, but to say they should just annul it without even starting an investigation, you've just come to a conclusion like that. I don't support it. And even come to think of it, all the MPs there, I don't think there's an MP who has never given like something as a gift to a member of a party.
Bribing someone to vote for you is not a crime. It has started for a very long time. I'm in Northern region, and it has started for long. Whether MPP or NDC, all the parties, they have been bribing. Because a lot of people, a lot of MPs in our Northern region, they have been bribing people. Whether you are NDC, MPP, CPP, all the parties, they have been bribing people.
Well, some constituents there from some of the constituencies up north. Let's go back to Election Watch Ghana, because they have condemned the acts of vote buying over the weekend. Elko Ewusi is convener. He's on the line joining us. Mr. Ewusi, thank you for talking to us. You have described this as a dangerous loophole in Ghana's electoral laws. Can you explain why internal party elections are currently not covered and how that weakens democratic accountability?
Thank you so much for having me. I think let me do a very quick correction. The name is Apun and not Eko.
The name is
Moving
what?
forward, Apun.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So moving forward, I think that I am heavily saddened this afternoon just by the last interview you had. It clearly indicates that inducement, bribery, in our electoral process is becoming a normal norm. It started way back, and for our democracy in 1992, people were giving out magazines and others. We have reached a point where we are giving out television sets, some giving out motorbikes, others giving money. And I think it is a very worrying situation that we have to be very careful about. Of course, the NDC have issued a statement, and we must commend the party for doing that. However, we believe it should not end just here. They should take back their words and make sure that whatever punitive sanctioning and measures that is there to deter others from doing things should really be done.
Right.
In fact, if you look at Section 33 of the Representation of the People's Law 1992, it prohibits vote buying in general elections. But as we speak, the law current status does not cover internal party elections. And these have created a loophole where candidates who have deep pockets are emboldened to engage in such more practice. So we will commend the NDC for taking that stance, but we ask that they should go beyond issuing statements and make sure that those who will be found culpable will be met with discipline, just so that they can restore back the trust and the image of the party in order to uphold their democratic values.
And beyond the statements and condemnations, what specific actions do you expect from the Electoral Commission, the NDC leadership, and law enforcement agencies in this particular case?
Yes, with what the law prescribes, the Electoral Commission can give you a fine or you may be imprisoned. These are the punishments. But for the party, I do not believe the party has any type of punishment. But for me, whatever is important, that the committee form would want to do to deter others, I believe they should do that. But moving forward, we need to see a collaboration between the Ghana Police Service and then the OSP. I think the OSP jumps the gun. It is the responsibility and obligation of the Electoral Commission to conduct an investigation and give punitive sanctions against those individuals. Of course, if they are done with the investigation, they can share the report with the Ghana Police Service, that's the CID department, for those found guilty to be apprehended. In prosecution, the OSP can come in. Since when did we hear or see the OSP going after investigating internal elections when it comes to malpractice or bribery and allegations? So the OSP should take its time. The Constitution and the section mandate the Electoral Commission to conduct that investigation. They have no jurisdiction. But what I'm calling for is that they can collaborate with the police service and the Electoral Commission to ensure that some of these things are settled. In fact, given the limitations in the current law that we have, we are proposing that we call for an amendment into internal party elections.
Okay.
Number one, the Section 33 of the People's Representation Law should be amended to include internal party elections. And number two, we should look at introducing specific provisions in the political party law to prevent vote buying during internal elections. If we don't do this, we will continue to buy votes in internal elections, and a general elections would that be a difficult thing to do. And that is why it is important that we take some of these things very serious, especially calling on the media, CSOs, and the citizens themselves.
All right.
That we have a responsibility to protect our democratic values.
Ms. Akon, thank you for talking to us. Mark Ewusi Akon is convener Election Watch Ghana. This is the midday news on 3FM 92.7. Let's just stay on this and speak with Christopher Amakon. Right, we have lost Christopher. Let's move on and do some other stories now. And former Roads and Highways Minister Francis Asensio-Boakye says the move must be rejected considering the strategic location of the project. He is speaking in reaction or in relation to the Swami Overchange project, and he contends that government cannot compromise the quality of the project in such an unjust fashion. Let's listen to him.
In the light of his recent announcements, one, selective funding priorities. If government could mobilize funds for Ofanko in Sawam Road, which was also started by the MPP administration, and we also know that is a very important road, just like the Swami Interchange project and other road projects. Why is the Swami Interchange project being shortchanged? Big push contradiction. In 2025, government itself captured the Swami Interchange project under the Big Push Road program to guarantee continuous funding and timely payment. What has suddenly changed? Availability of funds. The finance minister has publicly stated that 43 billion Ghana cedis has been allocated to road infrastructure for this year alone. 43 billion. Why can't a fraction of this amount be applied to complete the Swami Interchange project as originally designed? New projects versus existing commitments. If government claims it lacks funds to complete the full design of the Swami Interchange project, why is it financing 64 new road projects recently rushed through PPA, public procurement system?
The Bantama MP also called on the Roads and Highways Minister to beat a retreat and ensure the project is fully executed as initially planned.
We want to emphasize that the Swami Interchange project was conceived as a long-term solution, not a short-term compromise. The Ashanti Caucus of Parliament therefore calls on government to restore the original 4-tier design of the Swami Interchange project, reprioritize funding to complete the project as designed and planned, and engage transparently with Parliament and the people of Kumasi and Ashanti region in general on the way forward. Kumasi deserves infrastructure that reflects its national importance, not have solutions justified by selective constraints.
Bantama MP Francis Asenso Boache there. Let's just stay in the Ashanti region but talk about health, because seizure disorder cases in the Ashanti region continue to rise, with 3,220 cases recorded in 2023, up from 2,719 2022. Although the figure dropped slightly to 2,968 in 2024, it increased to 3,221 in 2025. Health authorities say the numbers still reflect a serious public health challenge. It is against this backdrop that the Ashanti Regional Directorate of Health Services launched the Epilepsy Pledge campaign as part of activities to mark International Epilepsy Day. Speaking at a media briefing in Kumasi, the Regional Health Director, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, said the region is moving beyond awareness to tangible action to address stigma, improve access to health care, and close the wide treatment gap. Let's speak to my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, who has been sitting through that awareness event to bring us more. Ibrahim, what other interventions or measures is the Health Directorate instituting to tackle this health concern?
Well, great. So they are intensifying awareness of the disease, and also training a lot more of their health personnel so that they will be able to provide primary health care to people with this condition. Because per the statistics, what we do know is that epilepsy or seizure disorder is treatable, but then it is stigma that attached to it, and also people's perception that it may be a case or something different. That's why people are unable to come and even disclose their state of soul. For now, even at the chief compound level, at the regional health level, at the district health level, they are training more of the personnel to know how to be able to handle sensitive cases, so that going forward, we'll have a lot more people who will be treated from this condition. So basically, the region has launched the Epilepsy Pledge campaign to ensure that no one will be left out of the treatment of this disease. Let's listen to what the Regional Health Director, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, has been.
Right, Ibrahim, we'll bring Dr. Adomako right.
Too often, hear him now. People living with epilepsy in the Ashanti region are subjected to stigma, discrimination, and neglect, driven by the false belief that it's a spiritual curse or a contagious disease. As the Regional Director of Health Service, I am using this platform to make a personal epilepsy pledge to improve access to care. Let all of us stop the stigma, because epilepsy is treatable. Up to 70% living with epilepsy can live a seizure-free with the right medication. It's working to increase the capacity of our primary health providers in rural communities to manage epilepsy effectively. We have to move from awareness to action. And we should ensure that no person in Ashanti region, and for that matter in the country, is left behind due to lack of understanding or access to care.
Dr. Adomako is a Regional Health Director. Before we go, though, farmers in Konkrompe and the surrounding communities of the Atebubu Amantine municipality in the Bono East region are facing an economic crisis. A maize glut has left thousands of bags of grains unsold. The situation poses a serious threat to their livelihood and that of their families as months of hard work risk going waste. That's more in this report by Belinda Tete.
What should have been a season of celebration following a bumper harvest has turned into a nightmare. Almost every home in Konkrompe is filled with sacks of maize. Farmers are patiently waiting for buyers to come, but this, they say, seems to be a distant dream.
1 month, 2 weeks.
This maize have been here for over a month. Nobody is coming to purchase it. It is really affecting us. All our maize are here. Nobody is coming to buy. We have now become a laughing stock in the community.
2 weeks.
This maize have been packed here for the past 2 weeks, and still nobody has come to buy it. It's really a menace. The farmers lament that the situation is having a severe impact on them, as they have invested all their money hoping to recover their debts after the harvest. I'm sick, and money to even buy antibiotics or go to the hospital has become a problem for me. We find it difficult to even eat 3 square meals a day. They are pleading with buyers across the nation to come in large numbers and purchase their maize. We'll plead with buyers to come in their numbers and buy for us. We have a lot of maize here, but the buyers are not coming, so we are pleading with the buyers. Come to New Konkrompe in the Agyemang municipality and come and buy for us. They are also calling on government and the National Buffer Stock Company to urgently intervene. We plead with government and the National Buffer Stock to urgently intervene, because at this point we are short of hope. During the presentation of the 2026 budget on November 13, 2025, Minister for Finance Dr. Kasiel Otto-Folson said government was to make available an additional 200 million cedis allocation to expand the National Food Buffer Stock Company's food purchase and storage program. The extra funding was to enable the National Food Buffer Stock to buy more surplus food from farmers. Well, farmers in Konkrompe and the surrounding communities of the Agyemang municipality in the Bono East region are hoping help comes in fast to salvage their livelihood. This is crucial at a time government is encouraging more people to venture into farming. Belinda Tete, Konkrompe.
And here in the studio, I am Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Thank you for joining us. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. You can also join us again at 5 for Hot Edition, where we bring you the latest in the world of all that you need to know. We have business coming up shortly. Stay with us.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, government begins disbursement of 1 billion cedis to settle contractors' debt.
So far, 10 million out of that portfolio has been cleared off, and it's in phases. So phase 1 has been paid, phase 2 has been also paid, and then now they are in phase 3, 1 million and above.
And Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies urges Africa must industrialize to survive global energy transition.
If Africa can go towards industrialization, i.e. producing its own energy, making it available, accessible and affordable at the same time, today we heard about acceptable, I believe that we can drive in the industries.
Plus, investor confidence soars as government's latest treasury bill auction is oversubscribed by a staggering 246% in 6th straight win. I am Michael Obodu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story now. And the Chamber of Construction Industries says government has begun disbursing about 1 billion cedis to settle outstanding debt owed to contractors. The payments follow an earlier directive by the presidency for funds to be released ahead of the Christmas period. Speaking to 3 Business, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Emmanuel Cherry, welcomed the move but urged government to speed up the payment process to ease pressure on contractors.
So far, 10 million out of that portfolio has been cleared off, and it's in phases. So phase 1 has been paid, phase 2 has been also paid, and then now they are in phase 3, 1 million and above. So 1 million and above, up to 2 million thereabouts, they are going to receive their payment this week. So as of when the clearance is given, then the payment continues. So basically, you must say government has started something. And even though it was in a tortoise pace, as we are expecting it to be a bit speedy, but it's better than nothing at all. So it's only that the money is not that much, but the assurance that we receive through the Minister for Works, Roads and Highways, that government has made additional commitment to add to the 1 billion. So we are hoping that very soon the 1 billion is going to be increased.
So that was the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industries, Emmanuel Cherry, speaking. Now, Africa must move beyond exporting raw materials and begin producing finished goods if it is to secure true energy sovereignty in the era of global energy transition. That's according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, Dr. Rivesingapong, speaking on the theme energy sovereignty in the context of the global energy transition, what Africa should know. Dr. Opon said the continent's continued dependence on raw material exports leaves it vulnerable to external policies such as the European Union's carbon border adjustment mechanism, which places tariff on products from developing countries based on the source of energy used in their production. He argued that industrialization powered by locally produced, accessible and affordable energy should be Africa's starting point.
It starts from being a raw material exporter and becoming an end product exporter, and that is why you've seen so much talks around the CBAM, like I mentioned in the lecture. That's the European tariff on products coming from developing countries as far as the energy source is concerned. If Africa can go towards industrialization, i.e. producing its own energy, making it available, accessible and affordable at the same time, today we heard about acceptable, I believe that we can drive in the industries. Looking at the smelting plants we have in Ghana, for example, the water, we have it, and that can be a source of revenue for the government. That can also give jobs to our youth and young ones instead of thinking about leaving the country.
So that was the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Grace Hammoah Agyemang, speaking. The government of Ghana has secured its 6th consecutive oversubscription of 246.51% in the latest Treasury bill auction held on February 6, 2026. Demonstrating robust investor confidence and high market liquidity, the auction attracted offers totaling a staggering 17.242 billion cedis, dwarfing the government's initial target of 4.976 billion cedis. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
The Treasury bill auction on February 6, 2026 witnessed a subscription rate of 346.51% and oversubscription rate of 246.51%. Despite the overwhelming interest, government maintained fiscal discipline by accepting only 5.826 billion cedis of the totaling offers of 17.242 billion cedis across the 3 tenors. For the 91-day bill, bids totaled 6.572 billion cedis, of which the government accepted 2.521 billion cedis at a yield of 9.97%. The 182-day bill received 3.724 billion cedis in offers, with the government accepting 1.301 billion cedis at an interest rate of 11.82%. The 364-day bill emerged as a major highlight, drawing 6.944 billion cedis in bids, though government opted to take just 2.003 billion cedis at a yield of 12.06%. The surge in demand reflects a continued preference for government paper as a safe haven for capital amid the nation's ongoing economic recovery. The high subscription rate suggests that while government has successfully met its immediate funding needs, there remains significant dry powder of excess liquidity in the domestic market.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association claims a shift from a 4% effective VAT rate to a unified 20% rate has crippled their price competitiveness and placed an unsustainable burden on consumers. The association has issued a warning to embark on a 1-week strike, citing the devastating impact of the new Value-Added Tax VAT Act 2025 Act 1151. Let's listen to the head of communications for the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers, Techi Ado.
We used to add 4%. That was being imposed on spare parts industry previously. So assuming selling my parts 500 cedis, I'll work 4%. So 4% is 20 cedis of 500 cedis, so it will be 520. But this new regime, it will move from 4% to 20% across board. Assuming I'm selling engine or a part, 20,000, I need to work 20% of 20,000. That will be added to the price. And mind you, not everybody have been registered with GRA. There's a lot of people, they have never registered with GRA. For those ones, they'll be in the market. Those who have already registered with GRA, they are going to be out of business. And the price of spare parts is going to be increased drastically. We need to be sincere. But since this started coming up, we keep on asking GRA, what they are doing is not going to help. We said they need to reduce it from 20% now to 5 to 8%. From 5 to 8% will be okay. Other than that, we are giving GRA 1 week. If they refuse to listen to our problems, then we have no option than to close down our shops. The shops will be closing next week, Monday, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And you heard that the head of communications for the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association, Techi Ado, bringing an end to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. For more stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend and Black Rasta is on standby. Stay tuned.